Hey, it's Jason with jams.net. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm going to be working on, testing a piece of equipment for my 2023 Ford Maverick XL Hybrid. Now, if you watch my channel, jams.net, you know that I have a lot of diagnostics tools that I use on the various cars in my car collection. These cars can be anywhere from a Land Rover, here, the L322 up to the L494. It could be the Chevy Silverado. It could be the Maverick. It could be the G20 conversion van. Could be some of the Mercedes. Lots of different vehicles. With those different vehicles, you're bound to have issues that pop up. Now, you can get a basic diagnostic scanner cheap. And those scanners will give you a code, and you go on Google, and you can determine what that is. But I'm going to get one specific for Ford, and I'm going to talk about it. It's the Foxwell NT710. So let's hop into it, and I'll unpackage it and show you what it's all about. Now, even if I was paying for these, I always keep one in the Land Rover L322 because sometimes you have to reset things when you're driving. And sure, you could just pull the battery and such. So much easier to have one. I also have one in this Land Rover that I'm fixing because you get steering column issues and whatnot. I have a $20 cheap gizmo in the Silverado. And then in the Ford Maverick, I'm going to have the Foxwell NT710. So I could have one, but I split my time between my primary house, we have a place out at the beach, and then I have the building where I keep a bunch of tools and stuff as well. So being a bit nomadic, I do like knowing when I'm on a trip, I have one. So this Foxwell NT710, no doubt, is going to live in the 2023 Ford Maverick XL Hybrid, and it's probably going to go under the seat in a cubby. So I'll always have it with me. And I would say the benefit of that is if an old check engine light, a CEL light was to pop up, I'll have it. So let's go ahead. It's 98 degrees here in Maryland today. I got the AC blasting in the truck. Let's go ahead and step in, and I'll unpackage this, and we'll talk about it and figure out what all it has to offer. Okay, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it and unpackage the Foxwell NT710 multi-system tablet scanner. Okay, so my first impressions, it's definitely beefier than some of the other scanners I have. Usually they come in like a soft case or, something that isn't so large in size. So it's nice to see that it's protected, and you could throw this Foxwell NT710 multi-system tablet scanner probably in your toolbox or your vehicle without any harm to the screen. So I do appreciate a good quality case. So upon opening it, you have all the typical apparatuses that one would expect. Your cable, which is going to hook to the car. It looks like there's a USB adapter as well, so you can probably get some updates, and then a user guide explaining how everything would function. And then, of course, the actual ODB2 scanner is right here. I'm really excited to have one for Ford specifically, and I'm very curious if the Maverick, being a hybrid, if it unlocks any other screens that I've never experienced before, because this is the first hybrid that I've ever owned. So maybe it will give you like information about the batteries or something. I think that would be pretty cool. So this looks very similar actually to the iCarSoft that I have for one of my Land Rovers. So that's interesting to me. They give you some quick guides here. Let's see what that's all about. They want you to register it, you update it. So it looks like this quick start guide is going to suggest that you connect it to the internet, and more than likely when you do that, it is going to get updates and all of that jazz. So they're going to make sure they have the latest firmware, and then it looks like you'll be able to register it which is nice, and then you can actually do some diagnostics on it. And of course, it says you can use external power for this, which is interesting, or you can draw power from the power supply. Now, this is cool. It actually has a battery built in, so it has an internal battery as well. So I guess I could probably just start this thing right up if it has a charge. It does. Look at that. A lot of the other ones, they don't have these internal batteries built in, at least the other ones that I've been testing. So let me go ahead and queue this up, and we'll connect it to the internet and do any updates that we need to. Okay, so I queued the camera up so you can kind of watch me go through this. I really am digging that it has a battery built into it. I think that's pretty awesome. This is a disclaimer saying basically, Foxwell Technology Company, da-da-da-da-da. And it's important to note, this scanner is about $300 if you buy this brand new. Next step is it wants you to connect to a wireless access point. So make sure wherever you're doing this, you have Wi-Fi. Okay, so I have connected to the internet, which is fantastic. I'm all connected there, so I can go back. And now it wants me to set up an account, so I'm going to go ahead and register. So as you do this, it's going to, for the username, you're going to want to input the email address that you want associated with it, and then it's going to email you a validation code. And I just got the email here, and it's a verification code that you enter, I guess, to validate it is a good email. So the next step, it said my serial number had to be activated. Now it says it's activated. I can go to my products, and I guess I can see here that it is in fact activated. So when you go to the home screen, I am now logged in. I verified that just by going to my account, and you can see it says I am logged in. But you have, your diagnostics section, your data manager, which is like screenshots you take, or recording of streams, or PDFs you create. Remote control. I'm not quite sure what this is, but it looks like you can control things via TeamViewer. So I suppose you can let other people access this. You have your settings section. I'm going to change the units out of the gate. I'll keep it there, metric, language, English. All the different settings in here. And then you can scroll over a little bit more, it looks like. Firmware update, shopping, so you could buy more modules. So this is what I was saying, where you could go in here and I can buy the Tesla module. I can buy the Saab. I can buy the Fuso, the Tata. And I bet you there is one in here for Land Rover, and I could probably buy that. Yeah, Land Rover, $60. So that's what I was saying. They have 33 specific manufacturer modules that you could add to this. And the reason why you want a specific module, because there's going to be specific things to the car that this would do. Now I have okay, so I ended up actually walking into my house, which is another pretty cool benefit of it being battery powered, because inside my office I have much better Wi-Fi signal. I'm at the very back of the property behind my garage, and while I get Wi-Fi signal, it's not nearly as good as inside. So if you go to update now, everything here is the latest version, and it all is in fact updated, latest, all the way down the line. So we can actually begin to diagnose the vehicle, and you're going to use this to plug into the back of it. It's going to plug in up here, and then you're going to plug it into your ODB2 port, which is right there in the Ford Maverick. It literally would just come out and very easily just pop in. So look for your hood release. It's going to be right there. So I'm going to plug it in to the device. And these are just like your typical old hookups that you would have from back in the day. Interesting, when I plugged it in, it cut the AC off. You know what, I probably just hit it with the cable. Just a coincidence. I'm doing it on this auto desk. No, it seems to want to keep the AC off. So I don't know if that's like a Ford Maverick thing or what. But we're going to go to Diagnostic. We're going to go to Ford. Another update's available. You know, I did all the updates. So it looks like it's doing another update. My goodness, let's give this a second to finish. Actually, it looks like it's a firmware update for the Foxwell, which it probably needed power plugged into it to do that. So we're going to go back to Ford, and it's going to hopefully load up some diagrams here. We're going to go ahead and say Smart VIN. It's going to scan, and I assume it is going to look. It failed to decode my VIN. Let's go again and see if it was scan. It is not decoding it, which is odd. So we go to manner of selection. We will say Ford. We will scroll down here, and we should see a Maverick. Ford Maverick. And then we have to select the engine and all that good stuff. 2.5 liter full hybrid electric vehicle, gasoline. Yes, that is correct. And we'll go ahead and do a quick scan. So this should find absolutely no faults in this vehicle. There should be no issues. Nothing's on the dash, no issues at all. So you can see pass, pass, pass. Oh, look, there's a fault on the audio control module. And I bet you that's just because it's something that doesn't exist. This is the base model Ford Maverick XL Hybrid. So more than likely, that's just something that doesn't exist. I don't know what's up with the AC when you connect it to this bad boy. It actually is cutting off and then it randomly cuts back on. So who knows? I'm just sitting here on park. Everything is passing besides that audio control module. We'll see what that's all about, though. I have no idea. I don't have any audio issues that I'm aware of. So let's let this scan, and then I'll come back to it. Okay, so it has scanned 21 total items. Everything is a pass with no faults besides number 8, which is that audio control module, the ACM module. So let's go ahead and click into that and see what that's all about. Lost communication with front display interface module. So I'm going to assume that's just something weird. I see that happen a lot on vehicles when I scan them. But everything else seems like it's okay, right? There's no faults. There's nothing to read. There's nothing to do. But what we will do is we'll go into the power control module, and you could go in here and look at live data as an example. And this is where these devices really separate from basic ODB2 scanners, and very much when they're specific to the manufacturer like Ford, you can see a stream of data. So you know your vehicle is just a big computer effectively nowadays, and there's a data stream, a constant event stream of data happening between the engine, between buttons you're pushing, between temperatures, and this will allow you to read it so you could actually see is there anything abnormal happening in the data stream. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I went to the accelerator pedal position. So it knows when I hit the pedal, it's at 0% right now, but I'm just putting pressure on it, and you can see that number dropping. You can see that it's up to 57. And so this is a live stream of data that I'm talking about that you can see with the scanner that can be specific to your car. Now, unless you're a mechanic and, you're trying to diagnose something, this might just be cool data to look at, but it can also be an indicator of something. Like if I was pressing the accelerator and that wasn't jumping percentages, like all the way up to 81%, I kind of slammed it down, I would know there's a bit of an issue going on, and that could help me begin to diagnose what's happening. Another thing I really love about advanced scanners, sometimes you'll get parasitic battery draws and whatnot. You know that you have a 12-volt battery in your vehicle, and when the alternator is running, it should run around 14%. So I just went in, and I can see the positive battery positive voltage is at 14.529, and it's jumping between 0.501 and 529. So it's keeping it topped off and doing what it should. So I know, hey, that's not an issue. That's an example of a live stream of data that you can actually see. So another thing you can look at, I'm looking down here at the bottom of the engine coolant temperature, and it is 68.88 degrees Celsius. So this becomes really handy because usually, specifically on some cars, and on the Ford, you just have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, and you're either in the middle or you're hot. This would tell me what the actual temperature is. So looking at this, I know right now that my engine temperature is at 68.16 degrees Celsius, and I know that's roughly 154 degrees in terms of what it's running. So that's another really good example of live streams of data that you can get from this device. But you can see there was just a massive amount of stuff here. Foot brakes, fan control speeds, fuel door, fuel level. All of these items are in here. And you can select multiple things and you can see it. I know my fuel right now is at 62%. So a little over half a tank. You can go in here and it's just continuously collecting all this information. And at any point you can save it. But you can see, it was just hundreds, not 200. Heated gas oxygen sensor, grill shutters, heater control modules, idle control, ignition key status, intake air temperature. Let's see what that's all about. My intake air temperature right now is 47 degrees Celsius. And you can go in here and you can click save, you can select record. All of this information can be available. You could say print, and it would actually let you could take a screenshot of this, so you can actually screenshot what it looks like, and that would be saved. So this is where you really can differentiate among a basic scanner to getting down to specific things and controlling it. You can, it's just variable cam timing banks, turbocharging, total vehicle distance, torque control, timers, throttle sensors. Boatloads, 290 plus, powertrain drive, power pack state. That's interesting. That could be hybrid specific, right? So it says power pack state, light core power pack available. So, okay. You can also go into graphing and you can see everything. So what I think is pretty cool about this, go to air intake temperature, and then I can go to graph. Well, it's doing the last one I selected. Hang on, let me go back. But my point is, you can actually graph it and see it as it's running. Let's go back to that engine one. That would be a engine coolant temperature. Okay, graph. And you can see the temperature. This is what these scanners can do. You can really geek out with the data. And engine coolant's a real biggie, especially if you have an issue or you're curious what it's idling at or running at. So if you start driving, you could ride with this, and you could see how things are graphing. And then you could say, I want to go ahead and I want to take a screenshot of this, or I want to save this. And you can save it, and it will give you all the information, so you can go back and reflect on the data that you have. So you can also control specific things. So you can go in and do an active test. And when you do an active test, that's where you can actually say, I want X to happen. So you could go down here, you could say fuel pump. Right now, my fuel pump should be off. It is off. I could cut it on. So you could actually cut things on and off. So, hey, I just installed a new switch or a new headlights or something. You can control them all from this. Or I want to activate the fuel pump temporary to make sure it's going to trigger and everything is working. I'm not going to do that on this car. So this Foxwell NT scanner, the NT710, I like it. I think it gives you just an abundance of data. You can, of course, go in here and you can clear the codes as well. So you want to be on the on position, and you could say, yeah, go ahead and clear codes. There's no codes for me to clear. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing here to clear. So that would let you go in and clear things and all that good stuff. Yes, I do. I like the Foxwell NT710, even though there's no issues for me, which is a good thing on a 2022 Ford Maverick. It's nice to power it off. It's nice to know that if I need it, I got it. And if I have any work done or like an oil change and they forget to do it, I can very easily adjust. So if you're looking for a scanner for Ford, I would definitely recommend the Foxwell. I'm pretty pleased with it. I like how durable it feels. I have another one and it feels a little bit cheaper, that company. This one feels heavy, durable. I love that it has the battery packs in it. I think that's super cool because the other ones are useless unless I have them plugged into the car. And that battery became beneficial for a few reasons. One, I walked into my office without it losing power. It stayed connected to the internet, but then it got a better signal and started connecting. Two, if you want to take this with you to your workbench, you can, and you can look at things without having it have to be hooked up to be drawing power because it's running off the battery. So thumbs up on this. You can buy this on Amazon. It's like $300, so it's definitely more of a premium scanner with lots of really good data, and they make these for lots of different manufacturers. And remember, if you get this just for your Ford and then you end up buying a Chevy, you can download the new data pack on it with all the specifics for a Chevy or whatever the case is. So thumbs up. Thank you, Foxwell, for sending this to me. I'm thrilled to test it. I'm happy to have it in my Ford Maverick. Again, this is jsojams.net. It means a lot to me watching this video. It would mean even more to me if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I really try hard. We have lots of DIY cars and adventures YouTube videos that we make, and we hope you take part of the journey. And let me know what you think of the Foxwell if you bought it. Love to hear your feedback. Have a great day.